classic Capcom series, Mega Man is probably best known as being mostly a Nintendo franchise for the first couple of generations. Sega, on the other hand, barely got any over the years, so it is nice to see the first 3 NES games ported onto the Mega Drive in a single collection. They have fancier graphics thanks to a more modern system, better audio, though that is debatable as to which you prefer, and an actual save system rather than just passwords, which has both good and bad points. There are even some exclusive levels to be played if you beat all 3 games. At the core, this is a good collection of 3 really good Mega Man games. However, if you have the option to play the original NES versions, and in 2022 pretty much everyone has that option, I'd recommend those over these. While not bad, I feel the controls just aren't quite as good, making the game slightly more difficult than they need to be. Won't play again. Monster World 4 is the 6th game in the Wonder Boy series, but the 4th game in the Monster World sub-series. A little confusing, but whatever. Originally, this game was only released in Japan, but 2012 finally gave us an official English localization of the game, and now we have it here on the Mega Drive Mini. This is a side-scrolling action RPG game that actually reminds me a lot of Alice Kid. Side-scrolling, platforming, money shoots out of defeated monsters, etc, etc. Thankfully, this controls a hell of a lot better, but suffers from the old action RPG combat issues with the dodgy hitboxes. I've tried to get into this series before, even buying the modern remake of this game a couple of years ago, but it just never clicked with me. Won't play again. Finally, some proper RPG action as we get a turn-based game. Not only that, but it's the Phantasy Star franchise, which was basically Sega's big JRPG franchise, at least when it came to games released in the West. I'm sure there's probably a whole series of JRPGs that we never got. Anyway, unlike 99.9% of JRPGs of the era that were mostly set in medieval worlds, Phantasy Star was set in space on various planets. This gives the series a different look and feel from just about anything else at the time. The 4th game is a sequel to the 2nd game and set before the 3rd game, which is in no way confusing, I'm sure. Luckily for me, I haven't played through any of them, so it might as well just be a standalone game. As hunters, you are hired by a school to look into some new biomonsters, and along the way uncover an evil plot and have to save not just a planet, but an entire solar system. Combat is your standard turn-based affair, which is exactly what I want in my JRPGs. You could do standard attacks or use TP to use magic attacks or defensive spells. My only real issue is that the names of some of the spells don't exactly clue you in as to what they do, so reading up a guide or finding the instruction manual is probably required. Along with the 2nd game, Phantasy Star 4 is often cited as one of the best JRPGs ever on a Sega system, and it's one that I have been meaning to get around to playing for years now. Will play again. Ah yes, Probotector, the classic game title. It is Contra. For some reason, Europe got Contra games as Probotector games, with human enemies replaced by robots. It's bizarre, but whatever. What's most bizarre about this name here, though, is that Probotector implies that it's just the regular old Contra game from years before on the NES, not Contra Hardcore, an entirely new game made for the Mega Drive exclusively. However, when it comes to Contra games, they do all kind of blend together for me anyway. It's all very similar looking levels and weapons and gameplay. Not that that's a bad thing, mind you. The Contra gameplay is utterly fantastic. Super fast and frantic fun, run and gun, action with lots of crazy weapons to pick up and use. Like all other Contra games from the time, I do love it a ton, I just happen to kinda suck at it. One-hit kills are definitely not my friend, but you should definitely play this. Will play again.